The console wars are over, and the big winner of them appears to be us, the gaming community. Now that incredibly cheesy intro is out of the way, though, let me explain what I'm talking about. If you are a gamer at all, you are no doubt aware of the console wars. It doesn't really affect PC gamers as much anymore, because most games tend to be released on PC alongside consoles now. But for the longest time, two of the biggest deciding factors of what console an individual was going to buy were what exclusive games were available on that console, especially the ones that were available on launch day, because there were some games that were going to be made available on one console, but not on launch day. Like there's going to be a delay. And what console your friends bought, to be honest, because if you wanted to play with your friends for the longest time, you had to be on the same console. But that appears to be changing. Well, the cross-platform thing has changed for a while now, but the concept of exclusive console games appears to be changing, because on August 26th, a big thing is happening. A big step forward in the console wars is happening with Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox. But not only Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox, Gears of War Reloaded, the remaster of the original Gears of War is going to be released on the PlayStation 5. And this is a very, very big deal, because I wouldn't really necessarily consider Helldivers a console-selling game, but Gears of War was definitely a console-selling game. The really big games for the longest time that were selling consoles were like Gears of War and Halo for the Xbox, and then like God of War and for a while there, like the Marvel Spider-Man game for the PlayStation. But now they're just saying, screw it, let's just put it on both. And this has kind of been a long time coming, because, well, long time, depending on what you define a long time, but a long time coming, because back in 2023, Xbox admitted that they lost the console wars. Xbox just straight up admitted that they lost the console wars with the statement, Xbox's console has consistently ranked third of three behind PlayStation and Nintendo in sales, and that they were now betting on a different strategy rather than, quote, effectively subsidizing gamers' purchases of the hardware in hopes of making up the revenue through sales of games and accessories. Essentially what had been going on for a long time. These consoles were selling at a loss or at very marginal profits in order to convince more people to buy their console so that they can get their cut of game sales on that console, game sales sold for that console, and any of the accessories that people ended up buying for those consoles. So they were hoping that between keeping the prices low, potentially, and I know low is subjective, but low for the level of profit that they wanted to make, keeping the console prices low, having these exclusive games that were only going to be available on their console, more people were going to buy that console, and therefore they were going to make back the money that they were losing, or the lost profit margins that they weren't making, by having you pretty much told that you're only going to be able to buy stuff for this console unless you were someone that had so much money that you were going to be able to buy both, in which case you were probably going to be spending a lot of money anyways, and they're going to make their money back on you. But one, I think a few things are causing this to change. One, people are more and more complaining about console prices, so they realize they can't raise the console prices too incredibly high to make up for that. I don't really think that's a huge factor. But two, more and more people are just realizing gaming PCs are the way to go. I have a gaming PC. Obviously, I'm recording on the gaming PC right now. I stream on my gaming PC. I still do have a PlayStation 5, and that is largely just because nostalgia. There are some games that for me I prefer to play on console just because it hits that nostalgia note, and I think it's just a level of, my job for the longest time, I was sitting at a desk and I was working on a computer. And when I was in college, I would do a lot of work on a computer. Whenever I sit down in front of a desk, I get into work mode. It makes me not enjoy the game because I kind of have this level of tension about me. I'm constantly checking my email. I'm constantly checking this. There's always something. But when I sit in front of a console, I'm able to just kind of turn off my brain and just enjoy playing the game. I think that's one of the big steps in that direction. And I think they're also just realizing if they release their games that they publish on, let's say it's a 50-50 split. Let's say Xbox isn't losing the console wars, and it is a 50-50 split or a 33-33-33 split between PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo of what consoles people have. They could have the exclusive sales of a few things and make up some money on the accessories on the 33% of the audience that they control. And then that's not even including PC gamers. Or they can just release their games across all the platforms, And yes, they might not be getting as many exclusive accessory sales, and they might not be getting as much, profit from whatever margin they're making from selling the consoles. But now they are going to be able to take that other 66% of the sales that they're not able to reach for their exclusive games, for the games that they control, and make money off of that. And I think that's probably the bigger moneymaker for them. That's probably a much bigger moneymaker for them. And hopefully this means a lot of this nitpicky console war stuff is going to come to an end too. They're still going to try to sell their consoles, obviously, but hopefully it stops being about, the new console stops being about like some of the flash in the show and all this different stuff to try to convince people it's a better console, and it just comes into making a better console. Making a better console that doesn't have all this flash and this fluff to try to, attract people's eyes to say this one. And it comes about just making a better console and making a better game for that console. And one of the big things with this too, that I think it's really neat. It's a really, really neat thing. I'm not going to show the entire video of it. I'll leave a link to the Twitter post. But with that, Helldivers 2, which is currently one of the PlayStation exclusive games, is partnering with Halo, and Halo has been historically one of the big console sellers for Xbox. They are partnering with Halo to release the newest update, where they're going to have the Obedient Democracy Support Troopers (ODSTs) in Helldivers 2, and a lot of ODST inspired gear in Helldivers 2. And one of the things I really like about this, that one of the reasons I'm wanting to show this, is just because I think it's the ending. I don't know if they did this intentionally or not, but the ending is kind of really cute, with what might be a symbolic gesture showing that, yeah, we're done with the console wars kind of thing. That might not be what they intended at all, but that's kind of how I'm interpreting it. I'm going to skip to the ending of this little trailer they have. That little hug between the ODST and the Helldiver at the end there, I thought it was cute, but I think it's also a good little symbolic gesture, perhaps, showing that they are done with the console wars. And they're releasing this update on the 26th, obviously. Now, what does this mean for gamers in the future? We can stop worrying about what console we're going to buy. We can stop worrying about what console we're going to buy because of what gaming exclusives we have. They've already gotten rid of, because I initially, my console owning history went from when I was a kid. My dad got me the PlayStation 1, then he got me the PlayStation 2. Then one year he got an Xbox, and then when I got out on my own, I was in the military and I was, had to buy my own stuff. I ended up buying the PlayStation 4. I wanted the new Xbox, but at the time, cross-platform gaming wasn't really a thing, and my buddies had already gone out and bought the PlayStation 4 before I got the chance to buy a console. So if I wanted to play with them, I had to be on a PlayStation. So, and since then, cross-platform gaming has become a bigger and bigger thing. But there was still the level of exclusive games on different consoles that was selling these things, making the decision of what console to buy. But that appears to be going away. And what I'm hoping this also leads to is more games being ported across consoles, and even older games being ported across consoles. Because one of my favorite games growing up was Fable 3. I loved Fable 3. Fable 3 was amazing. I had it on my Xbox 360. But when I got my PlayStation 4, I ended up eventually getting rid of my Xbox 360. Didn't really have the room for it. Like, I was, in a small room. Didn't have the room for it. Got rid of it. I wanted to trade it into GameStop so I can have the funds to buy PlayStation 4 games. But maybe that means Fable 3 is going to be coming to that. Maybe that means some of the old Halo games are going to be ported to PlayStation. If you want to go back and play some of the older PlayStation or Halo games, maybe that means some of the old God of War games are going to be ported to Xbox, or this, or some all these old games might end up getting ported. And one of the reasons why that might be even more evidenced, Sony is currently taking steps to bring more of their PlayStation exclusive games to other consoles. And the proof of that is that they have hired a person, or they have put out a job listing at the very least. I don't know if they've hired them yet, but they have put out a job listing for someone whose sole job is going to be Sony's new hire according to a GameRant article, will be responsible for shaping and executing the global commercial strategy for PlayStation Studios software across all digital platforms beyond PlayStation hardware. They will likely lead to the company's push into other markets with a focus on the biggest ones, including PCs and consoles. They are already working to bring more and more of their stuff to other consoles. They are hiring an executive whose job is to oversee the porting of their stuff to other consoles. And I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox, Microsoft is doing the exact same thing. The only thing I can hope for, and I know I'm the channel that shits on Nintendo at this point. I'm not the channel, but that is what a lot of people see my channel as. I'm trying to expand, I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to talk to others about other stuff, but the videos that people that really do well, the ones that people really care about, are the ones where I'm shitting on Nintendo or talking about Power World. Will this lead, or rather, this might lead, I really doubt it though, just because of how Nintendo is, but this might lead to Nintendo games being ported too. Because now, if Xbox and PlayStation are teaming up, Sony and Microsoft are teaming up, it's going to allow them to far outcompete Nintendo in this console gaming thing, in the console wars, which are dying, and potentially lead to more people being unwilling to work with them, because they might make a team up too and saying, hey, put it on PlayStation or Xbox but not Nintendo, just so they can beat them. Or it could lead to the other direction, and Nintendo doing a lot better, Nintendo Switch is doing a lot better in these console wars, or in the console cell market, because I think the console wars are over, and now that their games are all going to be put onto the Switch potentially too, now they do better. I'm hoping that's not the case. The Switch is kind of historically bad. Like, a lot of games won't go there, or a lot of games perform a lot worse on there. But what I'm hoping it leads to potentially is Nintendo finally saying, fuck it, we'll release some of our games on Xbox and PlayStation and PC too. And just in this massive debate over what console's better and what can we get, and in the decision of what console to buy based on what games are available to you. But that's all I really have on that. I'm super excited for this happening. I'm finally going to be able to start playing some of the old games that I love on PlayStation, hopefully. Hopefully they'll bring Fable 3 and a bunch of other games. Hopefully this executive that's responsible for porting all these games will also take a look at some of the older games that were super popular and start porting those to modern consoles too, because I really want to play Digimon World 1 again, or the original Digimon World again. Please, for the love of God, if you're not going to remaster it, at the very least port it to the modern systems. I need it. I need it in my life, and I don't want to keep trying to run these emulators and worry about messing up my computer. But with that, this video is coming to an end. Please leave a like and a subscribe and a comment. It really helps engagement. Every piece of engagement helps the video do better. And if you're interested in memberships and want to help the channel out a little bit, all the details are over there. 100% of the membership funding goes straight to my editor until it gets to the point where I can afford to hire him full-time between membership funding and ad rev. Have a nice day.